Hello traders, hope you're having a wonderful weekend. I know it's kind of surprising me recording a video on a Saturday and not on a Sunday like I usually do, but no, if you see me record a video ever on a Saturday, it's not because I'm free, it's because I have something really important to share with you guys. And if you've never made money in your life trading, this video might change that. So let's dive into it. So currently it's Saturday 3rd. Have some few trades running, actually a lot of trades running. I have trades running from June, trades running from July. You get to see June. June we have EurUsd, right? We have AD, yeah, we have EurUsd from June. We have July 10th, July 11th, AUDJPY. Very crazy move, more than 1,000, almost 2,000 pips on that one trade alone. So let's dive into it, guys. And so on Bitcoin, I have a trade I've been shorting the pair, but you get to see this week sentiment changed, and we get to see lots of volatility in the market this week, which I love because volatility provides me with opportunity, like you know. So with good risk management and good entries with combined with volatility, I get the perfect setups. And so far so good. This is the highest number of trades I've ever had at one time this whole year. For people who have been here, you know that. It's also the highest number of profit I've been able to achieve at a go this year. And as a swing trader, this is what I do. So you get to see day in a life of a swing trader, and you get to see what swing trading means and how good it is and profitable it is. People might be losing on the other side, but on your side, markets just favor you. And yeah, so developing news also, we get to see that the US Pentagon has sent warships and aircraft carriers to defend Israel in case of an attack. French urges its citizens immediately to leave Iran. Cyprus expands efforts to support wide-scale evacuations. Poland warns its citizens against traveling to the Middle East. Multiple airlines have suspended or postponed flights to the Middle East. We have United Airlines, we have Delta, we have Turkish, we have Wizz Air. Then back in the US, we have Senator Lindsey Graham, who has introduced a bill, a joint resolution to authorize the use of the US force against the US armed force against Iran for threatening the national security of the US. Ironical. It's just been introduced, so you don't have to fear. It has a long way to be introduced before it becomes law. Then we have the leader of Hezbollah has said, you know, the conflict has just entered a new phase after assassination of their leader. So crazy stories, developing stories coming out of the Middle East. We also have Warren Buffett, US, who has offloaded 49% of his Apple shares. So I have still Apple shares, but I reduced my portfolio significantly to only 9 trades on that stock. But on currencies, you get to see I have fairly good number sizes. The index US 500 last week. Let me overlay this picture for you. You get to see last week I had 2 pending trades. I left there for someone who can see it, you know. Yeah, who saw it? I had 2 pending trades. I even posted at the beginning of the video. That was to capture your attention. If you saw those 2 pending trades, guess what happened? Markets tapped into those trades, and with a 0.something% drawdown, and we just ripped 900 pips to the downside. Something I expected, because on the 1 hour time frame we had a gap. I expected that gap to be filled and markets to target the drawn liquidity, which was on the downside for me on the weekly time frame. For people who want more into indices, stocks, my recommendation of stocks, and you know, so many things, you can contact me using the email. It's here on the screen, it's also in the description. It's with my domain. I have big plans for you guys, setting up a website, and I won't go into my plans, but I have lots of plans for you guys. So you can always get 1 free consultation a week. I can always set up time. We go through, you know, my daily bias, my setups, my trades, any time of the week you want, so you get one free. You just contact me on the email and we'll just plan a Zoom call. You can start it from your side, I start it from my side, no problem. So let's go into this week's news, fundamental news. So we had a crazy week. I told you last week, guys, you should be patient this week and wait for news, BOJ, FOMC, and NFP. So for BOJ, we get to see that BOJ raised interest rates for only the second time since 2007 to help their ailing currency, because we know JPY has been very weak, relatively very weak, and I believe that will help their currency, and we get to see, you know, some upside movement on it. We get to see the Bank of England also cut interest rates for the first time in 4 years on signs of inflation slowing down in Britain. Then FOMC, we get to see Powell say they might start cutting interest rates as soon as September. So that's a huge move, and I'll be waiting on that, and I'll share in this video what I expect and trades you can take based on just that information alone. So lots of gems which are going to be dropped in this video. We got to see markets rip to the downside this week because of fears of recession in the US. We got to see everything is going down, but the cost of goods is going up. So people defaulting on mortgages, so much going on right now, and we got to see the job market doing very poorly because we expected this, and also some analysts expected 185, some expected forecasted 176. So we get to see we underperformed. So this is the third month in a row we are posting results below 125k. So that's a very bad figure for us, and yeah. So, and also let me give you what to expect when, you know, the interest rates will be cut. So we get to see Biden economics has failed, simply. That's what I can say. We get to see during Trump's time rates were at around 2.something%, and we get to see they have almost tripled during Biden's time in office. So to 6.something%. Some figures say 10, but I'll go with 6. So that's triple. So if they can cut that, at least they can stimulate the economy a bit. So what should we expect next week on news as I continue breaking down what to expect, what advantages you can use out of this? So we got to see the Wall Street Journal reported that 90% of flows into mutual funds and ETFs this year alone has gone into bonds, and that's roughly $150 billion worth of bonds being taken up. And when you see something like that happen, that's 90% of flows. So you get to see the reason the markets are expecting a rate cut. And if you remember, rate cuts are inverse to bonds. So, you know, you should be asking, so why buy bonds? It's because bonds have inverse relationship with interest rates, and the market is currently betting on 100% chance of the Fed starting interest rates in September, and we're expecting at least a 50 basis points on the rate. So interest rates go down, bond prices go up. So we get to see this happened back in 2008 when, you know, stocks fell 49% and the bonds went up 34% that year. So we get to see it happens 2000. Look at 2008. Look at pandemic time 2020. That happened too. So yeah, crazy times we're in. So remember, the Fed doesn't cut interest rates because the economy is cooking. It does so to stimulate a slowing economy. And remember, the Fed is reactive and not proactive, and their rate cuts always coincide with a crash in the stock market, and they are forced to cut interest rates because the economy is doing poorly. So crazy times. Jobs, we have unemployment now at 4.3%. So we are guaranteed for rate cut in September, as I've said, 50 basis points. We saw a crash on the 10-year treasury note. Crazy. Then what else? So long-term expectations is after the Fed prints money, which they call quantitative easing, which it's just in layman terms printing money, and lowers interest rates. In the long run, we are going to expect a boost in financial assets and in the stock markets. So that's after they have lowered interest rates and, you know, done quantitative easing. In the long run, that's what I'll expect. So I'll be sweeping up stocks at a cheap price. And how can you do this, by the way? How is this done? So bonds, when you buy bonds, remember I've said inverse relationship between interest rates and bonds. So interest rates lowered, bonds go up. So bonds can be sold from a position of strength to buy stocks in a recession. So people will be buying after markets have, you know, gone down and all that. You can buy stocks at fire sale prices, and people can really benefit a lot from that. So that's just an idea, and I don't want to spread fear or anything, because, you know, we can also assume maybe the market has just sold off, because we've lost almost $3 trillion in just 1 week. So we can assume maybe it's a corrective move, but don't want to sell fear. But what around town is recession fears. Okay, so this week, Monday won't be trading, bank holiday, slow day. Tuesday, nah, nothing there. Wednesday, nothing there. So the whole week, nothing really interests me, but it's a good trading week. It will be a fairly calm week, except maybe on AUD pairs. Only news I see is unemployment claims on Thursday. So let's see how the market will be, but it's gonna be a fairly calm week this week. So you can, for new traders, you can trade. It's fairly a good week, not too much volatility. Or we also have the ISM service PMI, nothing too much you can't handle. So let's dive into it. Let's dive into DXY first. So we got to see DXY pushed to the downside. Seasonality, like I mentioned last week, didn't come into play, of which I told you guys there was nothing technically that supported DXY pushing to the upside, because remember we were below my area. I'll dive into that for new people here also. And also fundamentally there's nothing that supported a move higher like we have always seen over the last 5 years on DXY in August. So push to the downside. So let me go to my other chart. So we're here on my other chart. So we get to see, I told you, let's start with the overall picture of things. So we are in this huge channel. Remember, I always say it's a dance within a dance within a dance. So we get to see we're in this huge move to the downside on DXY. And if we move to the 4-hour time frame, this is on the daily. Let's move to the 4-hour time frame. We get to see this was the E wave on this channel here. We get to see this was the E wave. Now we push to the downside and broken out of. If we extend this trend line up, you get to see we have broken out. So as I told you guys, what to expect is DXY was on a corrective move. This was the corrective move. I marked it out for you guys, told you that's the corrective move, and expect an impulse to the downside in the few coming weeks, because last week we get to see prices failed to close above this area, their area. Get to see prices failed to close above, but this week we get to see, I didn't want the market to drag along this shoulder, because remember it's a head shoulder pattern. It's a shoulder here, the head here, then the shoulder here. So I didn't want it to drag along. I wanted to see a push to the upside, tap into our area, and push to the downside. We get to see that happen, but prices necessarily didn't enter our area. Get to see markets just filled this inefficiency here, because the market is just meant to fill inefficiencies and seek liquidity. Like I've always said, that's the purpose of the market. So that's what it did, filled this inefficiency, at least moved to the last area where markets were last efficient, somewhere around there, you see. So pushed there, market had completed its objective of filling that fair value gap, and we pushed to the downside. So what I expect this week, maybe a small push, because this was a huge move. So maybe a small corrective move to at least fill majority part of this inefficiency, then it can continue to the downside. So that's my analysis on DXY, and that's what I'll be expecting. So let's rush to EurUsd. So on EurUsd, I'll overlay the trades I have on the side. You get to see those are the trades. I've closed majority of my sell positions, but my buy positions I have not even closed one from here. Where I have my buy positions, my sell positions are still up, but I added some other buy positions. So what we got to see on EurUsd is that prices dropped. We feel this inefficiency, but for the people who have been here since the time I analyzed, you remember the day I analyzed this, the markets were supposed to push into this fair value gap and push higher and collect this sell side liquidity over here. I marked it out. Market will take that liquidity, push into the fair value gap, but we never got to do that. We got to see that week we opened with a gap down, pushed here, then markets had this order block and price was supported to the upside. But remember, inefficiencies will always be filled no matter how long it takes. So market had to come back, sweep that liquidity there, tap into our daily fair value gap, and we had a push to the upside, took advantage of that opportunity, because remember, I love it when there's a lot of volatility. And based on my strategy, you've gotten to see my entries and how I know the direction of the markets 95% of the time, even when there's news. I won't dive into my ICT stuff right now, but technically this is what's going on DXY, on EurUsd, I'm sorry, on EurUsd. So if DXY continues going lower, what do you expect for EurUsd? I expect EurUsd to continue pushing higher. And how can we capitalize on that opportunity? So let's look at my other EurUsd chart. Let me use forex.com first. So we get to see this week, I told you guys, if prices were to close below this area and retest, we were to push lower, feeling that volume imbalance. But that's not what happened. We get to see on the weekly, if I come, we just wicked into that area. On the daily, I think it was an engulfing candle. So we get to see we just wicked that low, and it made perfect sense because of this candle. We swept the high, the candle range high. So it's just a matter of time we swept the candle range low, tap into this fair value gap here, our fair value gap, and then push to the upside. So targeting, this is the safest area I can target. You target the low lying fruits. So this high, buy side liquidity, we can target, what else can we target? We can target maybe this high. Just approximate 100 to 120 pips is not that bad, can be your target. But where can we enter from? Let's move to the daily. So on the daily, we get to see, I've always talked about this point of control in the market. Get to see there, pushed above, retested, held price here. So it's like maybe a head shoulder pattern, but it's not really that to me. But what I'll expect is this move is too high and we just can't continue buying to the upside. So what I can expect is prices to push lower this coming week. So as DXY is feeling that imbalance, is, you know, making the prices at least efficient or rebalancing price, get to see, I'll expect maybe Euro USD to push lower to this area, because we're waiting to see it controlled. It's an area of interest a lot. You get to see wicks. None was closing above. Retested, but once we close above, again, prices will be supported here. So it's a premium area, but just a push somewhere here, discounted area. I'd really love to take an opportunity there. I'd love to take a buy from there. Although I have a buy, I can add maybe more positions targeting the high, and that's why I haven't closed all my positions here. You've gotten to see I've left like 2-3 positions, I think, sell positions out of like, there were so many. So that's what I expect, just markets to continue, so I'll profit that way. Then as a swing trader, you've gotten to see that I don't close out all my positions. If I want to enter a sell, I'll enter the sell with my buy trades open, just in case sentiments change. My buy trades will still be in profit. The sell side, the sell trades, I'll close them and I'll still continue profiting. That's how I'm able to hold trades all year long. You get to see. So I'll wait for the push down here, then up here. Let's move to the 4 hour time frame. So this is what I'm looking at currently. So that's our area. We've gotten to see. So push to the downside, then you can buy from here. Makes sense. Also on Great British Pound, I'll show you this similar setup like that for me, and actually I took a trade from the bottom. Let's move to ICE, the broker. We get to see what I did there on the charts. So it made sense that we had to push to a discounted area, because below the 0.5 discounted area swept that candle range low, and we had this push to the upside. Told you guys, once prices close above this key area, we are golden. So we have just confirmed that EurUsd is bullish. And remember, we were here last week, and I was like, how will markets reach here? So, you know, news is always something that I'm always sure that will help bridge a gap. News, you either find it helps complete an objective in the market. So broken above this high, so push to the downsides somewhere here, and then we buy. So very good trade. You can look at that this coming week and formulate your entries where I've just told you. So yeah, now let's go check out gold. So on gold, we've had a crazy week, crazy week, but I've capitalized on opportunities. I've taken both scalping trades and swing trades, maybe potentially if it goes as planned. So let's move to the 4 hour time frame. So on the 4 hour time frame, we get to see, I told you I'm not gonna be bearish on EurUsd whatsoever, on gold whatsoever, because market structure is still bullish on the higher time frames. And I told you a level that I'll dive into that a little bit later. But for the people who are new here, this is what happened. We had the inverse fair value gap here, and we closed above it. I wanted markets to retrace into it, tap and continue, but I took some trades. Actually, when news pushed prices down here, I capitalized on the low time frame on this order block. On the 6 hour, I think also is a good order block. I took this trade. You get to see those two trades pin. So I have trades running from last week. The ones I showed last week down here, added 2 more, added a sale after we hunted for, because remember, the market hunts for where people put stop loss. Remember, after this push to the upside, this trade I gave you, get to see markets pushed to just collect this sell side liquidity where stop losses were. But remember, we took that similar sell. We get to see prices have pushed above just to hunt the stop loss, of which I'm always prepared for that, because where I put stop losses is where also other experienced traders tend to put their stop loss. So market's always weak into that area, and we get to see we pushed lower into this area, capitalized on that, had to think really fast and, you know, be really fast, because once you have a system, you don't even have to think so much. You just see it, you execute, see it, you execute. So on the lower time frames, I found my entries and took one from the peak. I think this week I expect maybe gold can push to here, then can sell maybe, but long-term bias is still bullish. Whatever will happen here, I just don't want to confuse you guys. I'm not that much of a scalper. I love swing trades, so my bias will be targeting the high, all-time highs again, and this time we just push to the upside like no one's business. Because remember also, whatever is happening in the Middle East right now just helps support our trade, our view that the markets are bullish. Remember, the XY sealed its fate. It's bearish, so all these other pairs bullish, bullish, bullish. So one thing, even if the market hasn't yet responded to USD selling, just know the algorithms can change, or maybe during the week they'll consider that and you'll see a shift in most pairs, USD pairs, and they'll align with whatever the XY is doing. So be careful of that. So remember, the USD is very weak. So it's not wise to short like gold right now. Any pair that's the currency, then USD being the second. It's not wise to short such currencies. It's good to long those currencies, and any sell will be short term before a major pump. So just be prepared of that, because markets sometimes might accumulate, manipulate on the lower time frames, then a huge pump to the upside after our manipulation. Vice versa also, it's not wise to buy any USD pair, like USD CHF. It's not wise to buy it. Actually, we have a very good trade I gave last week, a very good sell trade on that pair. It's not wise to be buying. Good, our technical and fundamental aligned, and we took a good sell. So yeah, so just be careful with it when you trade any setup against the bias or direction, because long term the algorithms may reverse anytime to favor the real direction of USD. So if I go to my other chart, my other gold chart, forex.com. I use a lot of charts to analyze, guys. I'm really sorry, but yeah, it helps me rather than deleting analysis and just start somewhere else. So last week I told you guys, you saw the channel, we were moving in, and we haven't broken out of that channel, though I had fears of us breaking out, because I told you we had moved really deep into this area, because normally prices should have turned at like here or on top here and pushed to the upside, but we moved really deep. So I had fears that we have retested this area, we might break and retest and push to the downside, but that didn't happen. We get to see market still, as long as prices were above this area. And I explained to you, I use the D area, and I love making it like a support once I extend this area. So push to the upside. So low lying mangles, we can target this high at first. So we get to see what will happen internally, then internal, external. Remember, internal to external range liquidity. So whatever will happen here, just have a bias and don't short, please. Don't. Yes, there might be good opportunities, but let your bias be to the upside. So the only time consider sells is if we break below this point of invalidation. If we break below this and we move somewhere up here to retest, that's the only time you can be ever bearish on gold, because we're just making higher highs, higher high, and this maybe move here, then higher high again. So yeah, so let's move to Great British Pound USD. So on Great British Pound USD, get to see we have come a long way, and right now I took some trades. I had a very good entry on the lower time frame. So but you can still capitalize on this opportunity, because we have broken out of this channel, and I believe you can target the upside, because also USD is down, is weak. So expect push to the upside, but this is long-term high. But anywhere internally here, high, any high you can target. So what you can expect, let me move to the 1 hour time frame. So what you can expect this week is maybe a push to the downside as the XY corrects its move. This one moves lower. We complete this head and shoulder pattern. Remember, we also have a double top here, so that's resting liquidity for me. We have this double top, so that acts as our neckline, you know that. So some traders might wait for prices to push here, then they buy from here. Some will wait for prices to break above, retest, and buy. Whatever strategy you use, this is a good setup. You can buy to the upside. I personally took a trade somewhere down here because I had a very good entry and it aligned with my ICT, and I took before news. And you get to see any trade I take before news tends to go my way, because 95% of the time, because I really factor a lot into it, like Audi JPY. You get to see where is it right now. Actually, I've held this trade for so long. Let's move to the 4 hour time frame. So number of pips so far is 1,300. I risked only 24 pips, so RR 55, which is a very good trade. Very good. I've been holding it since last month. Yeah, 11th, around 11th. I've been holding this trade. So what's my long-term target, if you ask? See that risk, 24 pips for all this. My target is somewhere here. I don't want to be too greedy, but I can target somewhere. I can target 92. So from 109 to 92. Why? I expect this is all liquidity for me. And I have a setup from last year, July. I have this POI, which I really expected markets to tap into, but we've gotten to see in this channel POIs from 2 years work, POIs from 1 year ago work. This year we took also a good trade on USD CHF, and we used the POI from October last year. So I have no reason as to why this one shouldn't work, because we have liquidity, and that's our point of interest. Let me move closer to this area so that you get to see it. So we have resting liquidity, engineered liquidity, resting just above our POI, and we get to see. We'll wait, we'll see if prices tap there and we see change in the state of delivery. We'll take that trade definitely. So that's a good trade. Push to the upside. So just wanted you to note that and look at that. So what else can we look at, Chris? What else can we look at? Let's look at trades I've given you and what to expect. Great British Pound CAD. I'm sure some of you are going to be really happy with this trade. Gave it to you 2 analysis ago after not trading this pair for like since last year. This was the last trade I took back in 29th November, and I explained it to you guys. It was a whole complex trade, but I get to see the POI was made in August, and we took it in November. So caught the upside, caught the downside. Didn't trade all this choppiness here just because I wasn't interested, not because I didn't find an opportunity, because you don't see any analysis there. Then this year we had this beautiful setup, and I gave it to you 2 analysis ago. Actually, we were here, we were somewhere here, and expected prices to tap this high and push lower. But whatever market does, some buyers maybe weren't waiting for this, too greedy, too early, jumped in too early, and we had that push. But either way, it still doesn't affect our setup. This is our accumulation. So the 4th wave has been completed. I can now move it, I can now push it here. Get to see that's our 4th wave. So that was the manipulation wave, and now we are pushing to the upside. So told you guys, you can target the upside, you can target the 5th wave here. Very good trade. You can still capitalize. Don't feel like you're missing out because you didn't enter here. Get to see, even respected this area to the tick. Didn't even close about below it or even weak below it. So don't feel like you're missing out. You can still catch this opportunity and push to the upside until here. So entry, you can enter here if, let's say, maybe break a block, any trade setup you guys use on the lower time frame. you can use it. But breaker block will be really good, maybe on the 1 hour or something. Take the trade and yeah, push to the upside with it, move to the upside. Let's look at Great British Pound AUD. I gave you this setup last week. Didn't go as planned because get to see we pushed higher, but that doesn't limit us from an opportunity. I personally didn't like it too much, but the one I liked was EurUsd. That's the one I loved, and I told you guys this setup looks clean. Told you guys you can formulate an entry, look for an entry on the lower time frames. You get to see I took a trade. Let me overlay it on the screen. You get to see I took a trade on the top because I liked it so much. This is the type of setup I like. So push to the downside, push to the downside, fifth wave high somewhere here, then we continue perhaps. Yeah, that's one thing you can. Great British Pound card, let me see for no, not Great British Pound card, British Pound AUD. Let's see if there's an opportunity there for you guys. Yeah, there's an opportunity here. So don't feel like you're missing out. This is a weekly trade I've given out setup. Get to see Elliott wave, get to see sweep of liquidity, change of character. So just wait for prices perhaps to push to premium above the 0.5. So this area or this area, whichever will hold, that will be the fifth wave high, and will push to the downside. Don't really miss this opportunity. Capitalize on this trade, and I've given it out. Give all trades for free. Don't we don't charge for trades. So another trade you can look at is also NSD USD. NSD USD, I gave out this trade some time back, but you get to see markets have moved beautifully. I'm sorry today guys, I don't know what's wrong with my internet provider. They're a bit slow today, but hopefully during the week they'll get up to speed. So this is NSD USD. I've been telling you guys, told you last week, this support was really important, and we get to see we had our change of market structure shift here. Now we are starting to push and targeting this high. So don't feel like you've missed out. Remember, USD will keep on going lower. That's just what's gonna happen. NSD, you can take advantage as it goes down. As USD weakens, just take this trade to the upside. So if you can catch also a move, I took a trade, I'll overlay it there, but if you can catch a trade, you can still catch a trade. Just make sure you target the upside. Good risk management, don't risk too much. Very good trade. So this support, wonderful. I thought this area will do it, but you get to see we didn't have a market structure shift. Actually 5 days in a row we closed with down close candles, but here something promising. Then on USD CHF, I wish I really held this. This was the POI from October. The people here are talking about it. It's the POI from October 2023. From October, you get to see October, which held price, and price that was the high of the year, this year 2024. I've broken this trade down since we were here. From my first video, we've capitalized on all these opportunities. We hoped for a buy from here, continuation, targeting this high, but you know, as I always update you with my analysis, market structure didn't support that, and we targeted the downside. So if I move to my other chart, the one I posted last week, I posted the sell. So let's see, it was on Oanda. So let's move to the daily time frame. You get to see this was the trade. I told you when we were here last week, we were here, right? This is Monday's candle, this is Friday's candle. So a retest and push to the downside, of which I've taken a trade. I can overlay it. So I give you trades, really find an entry and you'll really profit, and get to see we are ripping to the downside. So we might have a small buy somewhere here, because remember the XY expects maybe a corrective move. So, and also people who trade SMC, I think this is the extreme area. Yeah, but order flow. So I expect some buy. I know some people will be entering buys somewhere here and somewhere this as the extreme POI. So doesn't mean it's long-term buy, it's just a corrective move. As USD keeps on falling, will push to the downside. So opportunities can still be caught on this trade. Don't feel like you've missed out, and I'll always update you every week. So before I go anywhere else, sorry, we have Bitcoin. Sorry guys, sorry. Why did I take this trade on Bitcoin? So people who know I trade Bitcoin, very rare, but I do at times. And the last time we traded, we caught this move to the downside. Told you wait for markets to push to this fair value gap. It was on a weekend, a Sunday, and we had this rip to the downside. I expected this order block to hold, but we broke below it. This was the time the German government was selling Bitcoin, so there was a lot of sell pressure. If that sell pressure wasn't there, I believe this market structure buy model would have held, and we would have actually pushed to the upside. But because of that pressure, that was the reason. And remember, the bullish move was because SEC had approved the Ethereum ETF at that time. So this week, how did I catch this opportunity? We tapped into a weekly order block from that same area we sold from last time. We had SMT, we took our standard deviations, projected them out, and took a trade from this high. I've just this high. Took at this high, my stop loss was just above this candle, but to get to see, just took trades there immediately and didn't even have drawdown, just pushed to the downside. My area of interest is this area, -2 area to -2.5 area. So I'll expect maybe some retrace. And remember, the markets are moving down to fill the gap. In the futures market, we have a gap on Bitcoin between 59,000 and 61,000. So it just makes sense, and you get to see this area aligns with that. So if you're looking for potential buys, this is an area you can look at for buys. I don't expect a full expansion as of now, unless something happens, but no, I don't expect, because I expect USD to keep on pushing lower. So just means, though I'm not saying a bullish run, no, I'm not saying a bullish run that will take us to 70 at 100,000. No, I'm just saying, you know, buys, just decent trades. That's what I expect. So I believe that's the end of my analysis, guys. In case of anything, analyzed all these pairs, most of these pairs, and given you one new trade. The reason I can't give you a lot of trades is, remember, the market has ended with huge moves to the upside and downside. So huge candles, and we have to wait for the market to correct first. Then after a correction, then there is where now we can start looking for entries and trades. I've told you about the bond market. That's a very good opportunity to look at. So Bitcoin have multiple 2 entries. I'll overlay them there for you guys. I've explained US 500. You get to see that pending order there. Look at it. Last week's analysis, tapped into it this week, sold off. Stocks, I'll be exiting most of my stock. I've given you this. We've analyzed this. We've analyzed this. Euro JPY, there's no trade to analyze there. EurUsd. Yeah, I've analyzed that. Silver, there's nothing to analyze there. Here, get British Pound card, I've analyzed, and I've told you you can take a continuation trade to the upside. EurUsd, we've analyzed. Audi CHF, nothing there to analyze. Great British Pound, I've given you a buy, very good buy setup you can take. And gold, I've given you a very, at least, detailed analysis, long-term buys. So that's my analysis for the week. Love you guys. In case of any question, in case of any class, in case of any advice on any stock, I can do stock picking actually. So yeah, I can give you breakdown every reason as to why you should either buy or sell a certain stock. And you can just email me, it's free. I won't charge you for, at least for once a week, mentorship or something. Yeah, so yeah, this is a very good trade. So have a nice week, guys. God bless you, and yeah, cheers.